Testing, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. There we go. Hello, NC family. 1 second. There we go. And welcome back to the NC Bros. Oh wait, hold on. Almost forgot. Let's see. It's gonna look a little spooky for a second. Oh, where is it? Oh, there it is. There you go. My name is Sir Zach, but you can call me Zach.
I don't know what any of this stuff is!
Yeah. Possibly one of the worst intros I've ever done, but this is so that way y'all will know exactly what I go through when making one of these type of videos. This video is going to be slightly different, NZ family, because I am going to finally, after putting off I don't know how long, redraw Nick again. Make all the animations and everything for him all over again. And possibly discuss some behind the scenes stuff, so y'all can get an idea on what exactly do I do just to make anything of this. The program I'm using right now is Anime Studio Debut, or just Anime Studio to others. I don't know what it's called now because it went through a name change, so I'm just using an old program by now. But anyway, I use Anime Studio to do my little animations here, but I use a separate program to draw some of the props that I got on here. That's why some of these props look different and pixelated compared to Zach here, who no matter how close I get to him, he is not exactly pixelated, because he is made using vectors, while everything else is made using, well, pixels. The other program that I use is Clip Studio Paint, or Clip Paint Studio. I'll just put it down. I'll just put it down here to tell y'all what's the other program that I use. Anyway, before we get started on Nick, Arbin in the phone. I'm just looking at all the details here. One thing I wanted to point out, in case y'all didn't notice, at the beginning of every single NZBro video, whenever we're zoomed in like this, I don't know if any of y'all noticed, but the clock is always different. The reason why is because I put exactly the time when exactly I started taking pictures of this set right here. And that's why there's a border right here, because I can zoom in and out and move my camera wherever it needs to be. So I can move it right here. There we go, click render, and it'll render the image. Let's exit out of that. Okay, first things first. Oh, hang on. I don't want that moving. I need it right here so I can preview Nick each time. Okay, first things first, before we start removing Nick, remove all the props. Alright, so now with everything out of the way, we're going to load this up, and the sole reason why you should always save everything into, let me see, into a library, no matter what program you're using. I forgot exactly how I did this. It's been too long since I messed around with this. Add a folder. Oh no, I forgot how to put it in. Oh. Put it here. Wait. Ah, there we go. Ah, the original Nick. Okay. For a second there, I was a little worried I wouldn't know how to do this. Ah, the original. Wait. I done did it wrong. Give me a sec. There we go. Okay. Don't need that. Need that for the color palette. Ah, the original Nick. Hang on, let me see him compared to new me. It was fun when I first made both of us. It really was. And I still have the original characters and everything. I just don't know what happened to Nick's character. I was able to save mine, thankfully. I saved him to the library. But Nick is forever gone, so that's why we're going to have to redraw him all over again. So let's move all of Nick's props aside, or at least figure out how to. Nick's character was much more simpler because he only had 2 folders. Our characters now are much more complicated. More animations equals more complicated move sets and everything. It's too stressful to do it now, which is why I don't really do it as much. But in the end of it, it's fun when putting it all together. All right, so we're gonna work on Nick today or tonight. It's pretty much 11:41 at night. Let's see, typical. Oh, there we go. Alright, we're going to move this Nick aside. Turn off his arms for a minute. We're going to save those. Because, 1, these are Zach's original arms, so it probably makes sense to use Nick's original arms, but just stretch them out a bit to match his older self here. Because Nick ain't that little anymore. He's a big boy now. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Let me think. Okay, narration Zach here. Currently taking over because the video ended up becoming 1 whole hour long. Don't believe me? Look at how much gigabytes they took up. I'm not kidding. Plus, there were too many awkward pauses while drawing, and it turns out I wasn't cut out to draw and then commentate at the same time. So we're back to doing it this way. So sad. What you all need to know is pretty much the painstaking work and effort that I have to go through when making a character. But what I do want to discuss in this audio commentary bit is some behind-the-scenes stuff as originally anticipated. Starting with how the Enzy Bros was created in the first place. Believe it or not, the whole idea started with these very hats. Yep, just like that. When I first started on YouTube, it was with The Zachary Show, a stop-motion Lego series I made just for fun. As cringy as they are nowadays, they were still fun to do and pretty cool videos according to my friends that were able to watch them at the time. Unfortunately, that old channel was deleted and both Nick and I moved on to a new channel to start fresh. And we got to thinking, what would our channel be about? At first we wanted to make a gaming channel called Enzy Games. N, obviously for Nick, and Z for Zach. Only we didn't have good gaming computers at the time. Just pretty much potato computers. From the early 2000s. Time passed and we decided to do something with animated characters instead. But what would they look like? A day soon came when we wondered if there was knitted hats. I figured there'd be a sock monkey hat, but wondered if there would be a night hat for me. And sure enough, they existed. Thus came to be our characters. As for our names, we had to think of the most YouTuber-sounding names we could think of. Monkey Nick, named in honor of Nick's favorite animal. Monkeys! Sir Zaxalot, named since I am a fan of knights, hence the Sir Lancelot to the name. Plus, since Sir Lancelot implies that he uses the lance a lot, Zaxalot is a reference to how I used to name some characters after myself back in middle school. Narcissistic and egotistical? Of course, yeah. But that was a different me back then. A much different me. Yet the name Sir Zaxalot stuck in honor of that. As for the crew members, Nick and I liked how the Vanoss crew had different skins when playing Gmod. even going down as far as just using a Dorito bag. The thing is, Nick and I were playing around with Legos one time out of boredom and gathered the very characters that would someday be the Enzy crew. We brought together a chicken, an alien, a pig, a bunny, a skeleton, an astronaut, and a toy can of soup I had from a thrift store bag. Ended up giving them names too, only YouTube was not on the mine yet, so they were just given regular cartoony names. Cool Chicken, Nooglar, Pigbert, Frowny Bunny, Dead Tom, Captain Cosmo, and Soup Can. How original. Of course, they were not official characters yet till the Enzy Bros became a thing. 2016 hits and I started building up our new channel. We had the idea, concepts, and the crew. We just needed a name. We liked the name Enzy Games, but we wanted to do more than just games since, well, as I said, we couldn't do games just yet. Then it hit us. Me and Nick are like brothers. In reality, we're nephew and uncle, but because we pretty much grew up together when we were kids, we're pretty much like brothers. So, we ended up calling ourselves the Enzy Bros. And the name stuck ever since. Then after that, we needed a channel icon, like something that identifies our channel. I was at church one time just doodling in my notebook and everything and drew this. And I thought, that's it. That's gonna be our icon. Nick agreed, my own mom agreed, and then drew it on the computer, pieced it all together, and thus came to be our first channel icon, title, and everything. It was finally time. Our first video was released at the dawn of 2017. Hello folks and welcome to our channel. I am Sir Zaxalot, but you can call me Zach.
And I'm Monkey Nick, but you can call me Nick.
And we're the Enzy Bros! We also knew we'd have a small fan base, but never thought of a good name at the time, yet. I even mentioned Enzy Family as a suggestion in that video. The name stuck ever since. I went from saying, hello folks and welcome to the Enzy Bros, to saying, hello Enzy Family and welcome back to the Enzy Bros. A saying that was refined as time went on. What made it even better is that we treated it like it was a show rather than a typical YouTube video. I mean, even Shell's pretty much said we're pretty much like a newscast. I don't see us as a newscast, though it looks like it. It's more like a show, like you have like two hosts at a desk and everything. And that's pretty much what I went for. We were really just two YouTube hosts or whatever of our own channel at a very, very bad-looking desk. Again, all of the props in the original Enzy studio were all drawn in Anime Studio. So, y'all can see right here, it's not exactly easy to draw in Anime Studio, but yeah, all the props, they were just all done with either squares, reshaped circles, or even just the pencil tool. Yet, as bad as it looked at first, I had fun doing it, and it was just fun. And I liked it at the time. It was cool to have animated puppets in a ways. Good memories. It's just too bad we couldn't think of any good content just yet. The best we could do at the time was, well, just a Valentine's special to introduce the Enzy crew. And a failed top 10s video. The only one we've ever made that Big Boss YouTube didn't like when re-uploading it. To any OG Enzy family members that might be looking for that video, it's under our unlisted playlist, along with 2 other videos that also got copyright claimed.
Furthermore, gentlemen of the internet board,
What's the matter, YouTube?
It's nothing, Google. I just felt a disturbance. A very cancel-inducing disturbance.
Well, really, we had a lot of plans for the channel, but, well, we never really put any of them into fruition, obviously. Because honestly, animation and putting videos together on your own is hard. Too hard. Not sure if anyone really appreciates what small YouTubers have to do just to keep the content going. At least big YouTubers can hire an editor. We can't. Our budget says no. Review channels can ask for permission to show clips of videos, shows, and movies all they want, but our inbox tells us no. Gaming channels can afford all the top-grade gaming hardware and latest in gaming technology, but again, my wallet says no. Honestly, NZ family, small channels have it hard the most, and YouTube knows it. Neither do they care. Nope. Big Boss YouTube couldn't care less about the little guys on the platform. And you know what? That's a topic for another day, because this is a redraw / behind the scenes special. Enough of this depressing stuff.
That disturbance again. Yeah, still probably nothing. Shall we close another channel just to appease whatever this disturbance is, Mr. YouTube? Oh, no. Right now we have to discuss new policies. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Cover channels and them violating our copyright claims.
So, on to the actual characters at hand. Cool Chicken was given his name because I pictured a chicken who thinks he is cool to the point where he wears sunglasses. Now, originally he was going to wear the pixel shades, but that never came to be. I mean, seriously, try drawing oversized pixels over a cartoonish chicken. Didn't even have his iconic tie either, yet. As for his look, we went from a white chicken to a typical barnyard rooster you might see in cartoons. Plus, I'm familiar with this type of chicken since my dad raised roosters like him. More time passed and he was given a goatee and a red tie he may have stolen from the nostalgia critic while he wasn't looking. Sorry, Doug. If one of your ties is missing, try not to be surprised that a rooster snuck in and stole it. Finally, thinking of a voice for Cool Chicken. Since he thought of himself as the cool guy, I decided to give him some sort of a raspy DJ voice. Now, I remember a Sesame Street video that Nick had, that both me and him watched. It was like I forgot what it was called, but I'll put the name down here. It was about a DJ taking requests and putting out songs and everything on his radio channel and all that. And the wolf DJ, forgot his name, and just put the name down here. Probably very basic sounding that I can't even... Probably the most basic sounding name one could think of. Well, anyway, I like the way he sounded, and pretty much any other cartoon or movie or show DJ out there who thinks they have to sound cool. So I just gave Cool Chicken the most stereotypical, old, 80s, 90s DJ voice you can think of. So I had to make my voice a little raspy, and then kind of bring it down to a smooth and cool level. Although it hurts my voice a bit, that's the way Cool Chicken is. He thinks he's cool, hence the name Cool Chicken. Listening to them funky beats and all that. Get what I'm saying? As much as his voice hurts mine, it's fun to just voice Cool Chicken. It really is. Let's see. Next up there is coming up with the idea for Pigbert. Pigbert, I had no real idea what he does or what he sounded like, but when the Valentine's special that we did came around, I had to just think on the spot, what in the world would Pigbert do, or at least what would he sound like? And then I thought, well, he's a pig, and we're pretty much going for a cartoonish world kind of thing. So wouldn't it make sense if he somewhat sounded like the stereotypical pig character or something like that? But then I thought, no, let's try something else entirely. Just think someone who's just not big for the sake of it, but wants to sound big too, and probably eats a lot of chips or eats a lot of food. His mouth is always full. Just someone who sounded like his mouth was just full and never actually empty. Like just full of food that he just won't stop eating. Just constantly eating because, well, he's a pig. I mean, pigs eat. I mean, do any of y'all even know how much a pig actually eats a day? So Pigbert ended up sounding, let me see.
He ended up sounding a little bit like this. I like to think of good voice for Pigbert. And he's proud of who he is. Very proud. Proud of what he eats, too. He ain't ashamed of it. This is delicious.
Even if we give him a Valentine's card and he assumes that it's a napkin and uses it as a napkin. Only OG NZ family members will understand what I mean. Next up there is Nuglar. Nuglar being an alien, well, it just screams what his name is going to sound like. It has to sound odd. It has to sound weird. It has to sound different. So we just cooked up the name Nuglar. As for his voice, same issue. I couldn't think of a good voice for him. Or even some kind of good accent he would probably use. He's not from around here, so what would an alien sound like if they tried to speak our language? Like, what would their accent be? So with Nuglar, I had to think of a good one for him. So I just thought, well, why don't we mix a little bit of my dad's accent with some other accent. So it took me a while to think again. Had to think of something European. Can't think of one specifically, but I just put it together.
And the Nuglar ended up sounding a little bit like this. Oh, what are you guys doing? Those are my tentacles. I know I shed them, but you don't have to cook them. Y'all are weird. Y'all are weird even to me.
Yep, good old Nuglar. He's an alien.
An alien? But to me, y'all are the alien. Y'all are strange. Strange to me. Always getting the next car when you barely got a new car and it works. I don't understand why y'all had to get next year's model. Or even the phone. Y'all got a perfectly good phone. But y'all go for the next one. The next model. What's wrong with you? You have a good phone. Hang on. It is very illogical to get a new model when your old phone still works.
Old Nuglar. Ended up being an annoyance on the channel. And that was the whole joke. He was supposed to be annoying to the actual studio because he didn't really do much. The story was he would always raid the pantry, raid the fridge, before Pigbert can. He's pretty much the early bird. He's the guy who goes straight for the food, or the potato chips. He loves potato chips. That's the whole idea of it. Even though I draw Pigbert with the potato chips, it's really Nuglar that eats them.
Or the saltiness burns the tentacles and stings. But I still love the potato chips.
As for Frowny Bunny, I had absolutely no idea what to do with him, or even what he should sound like. One thing you need to know about Frowny Bunny is that he is Frowny Bunny for a reason. His ear's been torn off by a dog, his leg was cut off by someone who just wanted a rabbit's foot, his whiskers are all ruined and just cut up a bit. The guy is pretty much what would happen if Bugs Bunny wasn't really that lucky. That's pretty much who Frowny Bunny is. And instead of being as wisecracky as Bugs Bunny is, he is
a little shy and timid. Just just pretty much afraid of everything. So cut me some slack.
And as interesting as the idea would be, I just don't know what to do with him. So story-wise, he's just hidden in his burrow and not coming out again. So sorry, Brownie Bunny. Maybe I'll figure out some story for you so that way you'll return some way somehow. And then there is, I'll get to Dead Tom last. There is Soup Can next. Now we couldn't just have a character just called Soup Can. If this was going to be a cartoon world that we're building here, he needed a name, like an actual name to go with the name Soup Can. So I thought, why don't we just put in the name Sam, Soup Can Sam, and it rang. It just clicked. Thus Soup Can Sam got his name. He's an empty can of soup who wants to cook. Yep, like that even makes sense. As for his voice, again, same issue. I couldn't think of a good voice for him either at first. But then it hit me. Give him the most silliest sounding voice you can think of. So I thought, try a Kermit-like voice. Squeak your voice a bit, but have it sound a little bit more sillier. So instead of my Kermit the Frog voice, I had to squeak it a little bit and make it sound a little silly. And thus Soup Can Sam was born. I got some nice cake cooking in the oven, everyone. Would anyone like a slice after it is done? And Soup Can Sam is so cartoony. One, he has those traditional silk gloves that cartoon characters wear. But the only thing is, instead of 4 fingers, he's the only character on the Enzy Bros that has 5 fingers. Or at least he was the only character with 5 fingers until Dr. Looney was introduced. And I'll get to Dr. Looney later too. Let me just finish up with Soup Can. Let's see. I was originally going to do Enzy cooking with Soup Can, but same issue. I did not feel like animating every single food he has to put together, make, and everything. But the idea would have been Soup Can Sam does cook, but he cooks terribly. Like, whatever he's trying to make comes out horribly by the end of it. But the joke would be he doesn't show it on screen. It would be a mess and just downright horrible at first. But then miraculously, after he's done, it's miraculously somehow intact and put together. Like, if he's trying to bake a cake, you'll see that he's just doing a horrible job. But then after he takes it out of the oven, it's all perfect and everything somehow. And then if you look in the background, you'll probably see a box that pretty much hints that he didn't make the cake himself. He ordered it. The idea would be Soup Can Sam is not a real cook. Or at least he doesn't know how to cook. That would have been the whole joke, but unfortunately we never got around to it. Me or Nick. It's not easy being the only animator. And drawer. As for Dr. Looney, he was based on Tobuscus's exaggerated doctor character that he was coming up with and everything when voicing him. Let me see, because when Tobuscus was playing Surgeon Simulator, he sounded a little bit like this, Mr. Bob. Mr. Bob, don't die on me. And then I heard the medic from Team Fortress 2 liked his personality and just how wacky he is. And then I thought, well, if I ever play Surgeon Simulator, I should think of a character that's just downright loony, crazy, and causes more harm than actual good. So when Nick downloaded Surgeon Simulator on his iPad and got me to try it out, me and him just had fun with it, and he would not stop laughing with my Dr. Looney voice. Okay, I am now attempting to operate on Bob here. Yeah, what is this? What is that gross thing? Is that the liver? Or is that the gut? I can't tell the difference. I didn't graduate from medical school. I just got here. I'm not really the doctor.
Well, too bad. I am the doctor now. I don't know what that is, but that was evil. That's evil. Evil! Evil! So as soon as we open it up and everything, I'm like, well, Dr. Looney is in the house. He's a crazy doctor. Just downright crazy and is totally not an escaped patient. Oh no, he knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing. And then there's Nurse Tricia. Not an official character yet, but her name's on Surgeon Simulator, so we thought, well, it's just called Tricia. So me and Nick thought, well, there should be a nurse called Nurse Tricia, so she's supposed to be an annoyance to Dr. Looney, who's obsessed with him. Like, she's secretly in love with him, but at an obsessed level. But the funny thing is, he's not really interested in her at all. Like, he's not interested in her advances at all. He ain't interested in love, he just wants to do surgery. So, and one more thing, Nurse Tricia, for a voice for Nurse Tricia, I remember Nick showing me this one YouTube video. I forgot what it was called, and I cannot find it on YouTube. I don't know if it's deleted or unlisted, I don't know. I just remember there was this cartoon nurse on there, and it was made by a regular YouTuber animator during that time. The nurse was like, "Doctor, there's a patient in there," just something like that. So I thought, well, why don't we do that with Nurse Tricia and just make her flat out sound like she's the most, like, I picture her being the most attractive nurse you can ever think of, but she just has a terrible voice for no reason. So she's like, "Doctor, you're back!" And then Dr. Looney's like, "Get away from me, woman! I have surgery to do." Finally, Dr. Looney thinking that everything is evil. There are items in Surgeon Simulator that you can't exactly use and are just in the way. And the first thing I always did was just throw them all across the room. So I was thinking, well, if Dr. Looney's throwing all that stuff across the room and everything, I picture him thinking that it's evil. He thinks beakers are evil, Q-tips are evil. So whenever throwing them away in that one video me and Nick did, I had Dr. Looney just straight up go, "First things first, glass, evil! That is evil, this is evil, all of that is evil! Evil!" Oh, my goodness. Deep down I kind of wish Shells and Nick knew how to do voices to make new characters. Well, actually, Shells has been wanting to, we just haven't thought of any good new female characters just yet. We do have one more in mind, but I'm saving her for a Enzy short that I'm thinking of doing. And I won't spoil what her job on the Enzy Bros is going to be. For now, let us move on to the last character on the Enzy Bros. Sorry, Grumps. You don't necessarily have a voice. You're just an angry emoji. Not an angry emoji. He's an angry meme that I created. Just a meme that's sick of everything. No. The last character I want to talk about is Dead Tom. Now, Dead Tom, of course, is a skeleton. That's why he's named Dead Tom. And the reason why he's a pirate, and namesake for that, he's straight up I wouldn't say a ripoff, but he's literally based and named after a Muppet Treasure Island character that I remember. On Muppet Treasure Island, they were doing a roll call. Sam Eagle, or in the movies, his name was Mr. Arrow for the movie. He does the roll call. He goes down the list and everything. He finally goes down to 3 guys in particular. He goes, "Old Tom." And Old Tom shows up and goes, "Hey, Will Tom." And then they show a mummy. And he goes, "Hey." And then he goes down the final guy and says, "Dead Tom." And then they show a skeleton. A dead pirate skeleton with a pirate hat and everything and X's over his eyes. They just hold him up because he's dead and they have him go, "Hey!" So I was thinking, yep, that's Dead Tom. He's a pirate skeleton that we've got. Story-wise, Dead Tom is a skeleton that the Enzy Bros found because a science classroom was closing down or was giving up items or something, and Dead Tom was there.
Whether if he actually lived in the pirate days or not, that's up to you, NZ family, to decide if he's telling the truth or not whenever we get around to Dead Tom's stories and all that. If he's really just legit telling real stories or tall tales. But anyway, Dead Tom is a pirate that only speaks every now and then and tells his stories. Hence the idea right there. As for a voice for him, I had to think of the most stereotypical pirate voice I could think of, again, since they're all cartoon characters. So I thought, well, why don't we do Mr. Krabs, but with a mix of other... with a little mix of Popeye, at least. Or at least the way Popeye laughs, and Mr. Krabs laughs. Well, you get the idea. Dead Tom ended up, sounding a little bit like this. I remember a time when I first got to me ship. The best feeling any pirate could ever have. The best way to experience that feeling, for you to understand, ye landlubbers, is when you get your first car. No, not the junky one that your parents give you. No, I mean your first real car that you got with your own money. 'Twas the most beautiful day of me life. And that's pretty much the Enzy crew. Except for Princess Shelling. She is our most recent addition. Nick's little sister. Actually, his only sister, actually. She, let me think. We couldn't exactly think of a good character for her to be. The best we could do was, it came down between either her being a cat character or a doll-looking character. And I did try drawing her like a cat at first, but then I was like, no, let's save that for a different character entirely. So I went for the doll character instead, since, well, Shells likes plushies. The joke for Princess Shellings is, she is sweet, but don't get on her bad side, because she can get real ugly if she wanted to. Don't ever, and I repeat, don't ever call Princess Shellings doll. Yep, that joke. She'll go berserko if you dare call her doll. And aside from all that, I think that's pretty much it for the Enzy crew, and, oh, great. Yeah?
Zach, aren't you forgetting one character in particular?
Who am I forgetting, Soup Can?
You're forgetting Captain Cosmo.
Oh, right. Thanks for that. Yeah, Captain Cosmo. Right. I almost forgot about him. Well, as I said in the Costume Quest video I did, I wanted to create a character, an astronaut character called Captain Cosmo, based on that astronaut me and Nick picked. But unfortunately, he never came to be, because I couldn't think of what to do with Captain Cosmo. We already had a space character, Nuglar, so why have another one? But if we did ever come up with Captain Cosmo, I picture him pretty much sounding like Zepp Brannigan and thinking he's just all that and better than all of you losers. Yep, that's me. Good old Captain Cosmo. I'm the best astronaut there ever was, and I am the first man to land on Mars. Take that, Elon Musk. Oh my goodness. Captain Cosmo could have been stupid. Probably would have been one of our best characters, or probably one of our worst. I have no idea. But he would have at least been fun to do. He could still be introduced. There's other character ideas I have in mind, and one suggestion from one of my best friends. I won't spoil who that character is, but I was thinking that the NZ crew needs a technician or someone that works around with technology for whenever stuff in the studio just randomly breaks down. Again, just some NZ short ideas that I'm still throwing around. But again, it takes time because animation, as you can see in this video, it is long, time-consuming, and this is just sped up. What you're seeing is just sped up. This is what it really looks like. Yeah, it's long.
Oh well, right around here is pretty much when I quit, so yeah, I had a lot of trouble making Nick's arm. A little too much trouble. I was never satisfied with the way it looked and everything, so yeah. Right around this point is when it actually works, when it actually works out and everything. And I didn't really finish drawing Nick right here. Or at least I didn't finish drawing his other arm, even though it was so simple, I didn't even really get to do it. Because, one, when I started this video, it was like 11:40 at night. And I didn't finish until like, by the end of the video, it was like 12, it was like 12:20 or 12 something in the morning. I was at it for a long time. And I still wasn't done. Even after I quit recording the video, I still was working on Nick. He was just time consuming. Coloring him based on how I colored him with Clip Paint Studio was time consuming. And this is done in Anime Studio. I have like 2 programs to work with. It's just time consuming. Everything is time consuming. I do it twice. I'm doing this all twice by myself. No, I'm not hiring any animators because once again, my wallet says no, I can't hire animators. I can't even pay y'all. And no, even if y'all want to do it for free, I don't want, I'm not hiring. I ain't hiring.
Zach, we could use a secretary.
No. Though a cartoon secretary wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't know. Could be a good Enzy short though. Well, anyway, I guess that's it for this edition of Enzy Bros, my Enzy family. Enzy Bros Behind the Scenes edition. See you all next time, and as always, y'all have a good Enzy week. Goodbye, y'all. Pow!